I want to start this off by saying I've been a wrestling fan for more than half my life at this point. I started watching wrestling when I was probably 6 years old, and I'm 19 right now. For those of you who are new watching, that was a little backstory for you. You're welcome. And if you have seen one of my videos before, perhaps it was when I was ranting on AEW, but tonight, notice I have no rant in the thumbnail or title. Because this AEW Dynamite, with the coronavirus going around, with no fans in attendance, was picture perfect. Was 110% perfect. With no fans, it was perfect. They did an absolute flawless job. And I genuinely mean that from a fan standpoint, from a strict diehard wrestling fan standpoint, flawless. Fucking flawless. This AEW Dynamite was marked on paper by Monday as going to be one of the worst AEW Dynamites because people knew with this coronavirus going around there was going to be no fans, and they saw what Monday Night Raw performance did on Monday, and they're like, yeah, this AEW is going to suck. And you know what? I didn't think that once, and I am going to put that out there right there. I think in these types of situations, AEW would prevail as, a better TV to show watch in these circumstances, because these guys are doing shit differently, which isn't so popular in like a regular show when there's fans in the audience. They're doing shit that doesn't really connect with me, at least. But tonight, for some reason, the shit that they normally do different in front of a crowd felt different because there was no crowd. And it actually made me, in a weird way, appreciate wrestling even more. Watching AEW, WWE with no fans made me appreciate not only wrestling more, but the fans of wrestling more. Because I think we all forgot before this week started with this whole coronavirus and no fans attending how important a vocal wrestling audience is to a weekly televised wrestling program. We all forgot how important a vocal crowd is. A vocal crowd can make the worst, shittiest segment on a Monday Night Raw seem like the greatest. Okay? A vocal crowd with one of the worst segments on AEW can make that segment great. But with no fans, what AEW Dynamite did last night was perfect. And if you were watching any of my AEW Dynamite rants on this video, you know I was pretty hypercritical of them. But tonight, with no fans in attendance, they showed me, they showed everybody why they are to be taken seriously in this wrestling game we call fucking, the ratings wars between WWE and AEW. AEW Dynamite could have had one fucking viewer all 2 hours. And by the time that show went off air, just because of how good it was and how much sense it made with no fans being there, and how they blacked out all the lights, and how they put all the heels on one side and all the baby faces on the other, and how they had MJF and Shawn Spears betting on people. Shit like that is what makes me feel like a kid again. It makes sense. It doesn't go away from the storyline you were telling. It's not watered down. It's fresh. It's fresh. And honestly, this is exactly what wrestling needed, I think. I think if there was ever going to be another wrestling boom period, it would be now. You want to know why? Because everyone kind of forgot. Everyone kind of forgot how special a vocal crowd is. And I know I said this before, and I know I'm not trying to sound like a broken record. But every single buddy, from what I remember, forgot of how important the crowds are to this. How important a vocal crowd is to a televised wrestling event. At Monday Night Raw, the fans are literally sitting on their hands, biting their tongues, because they can't find one thing in 3 hours of sitting there that will fucking make them feel, I don't know, something. Some kind of emotion that would make them want to break out and cheer or booze or something. Over there in WWE, they have brainwashed everyone that watches their programming on a weekly basis when to be loud and when not to be loud. And honestly, I'm fucking sick of it. I feel like people should be vocal from the minute the show goes on air to the moment the lights go off and the show is over. The people should be screaming at the top of their lungs or booing at the top of their lungs by the time the show starts and by the time the show ends. And WWE, yeah, I'm going to call it that, WWE, of course, I'm sorry. WWE and AEW Dynamite. Wow, I'm really choking over my words. Wow, I need to chill out. They both have had their, off nights with their fans. More WWE than AEW. WWE's crowds have just got very, very, very toxic. Very toxic. The WWE fan base is really fickle. I have to admit, it is pretty fickle. I don't like using that word so much because it was used to deaf ears by like Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins. And it's been used so much to insult me too, and that's something I'll always think is stupid because I've always had one taste for wrestling, and that's loud and brash wrestling. Loud and brash in like a good 2009 WWE Jeff Hardy kind of run. Loud and bashful. You know what I mean? Those days were awesome. When Jeff Hardy was on top and he had his run, I loved wrestling. That was probably my peak of loving wrestling, right there. Watching SmackDown on a weekly basis, watching every single match from every single WWE show, because I thought it was cool. I thought it was the best thing ever. I thought, well, maybe this storyline can add Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up, and I know a lot of people had Jeff Hardy as their favorite wrestler. But yeah, he was really my favorite. But yeah, it was special around that period. But what AEW Dynamite did today, or last night on Wednesday, was something I appreciated. It was something I think a lot of people appreciated, especially in this time, with everything going to shit, it seems like, around us, and complete chaos breaking out. I feel like I really needed a good wrestling show to sink my teeth into that would make me feel like I'm living life as we knew it. Of course, by the time the show went off air, we sat back and we smelled the roses and we realized we're back in reality. But AEW Dynamite, for the 2 hours it was on air, made me appreciate how wrestling can make a fan feel. What AEW Dynamite did was make a fan appreciate other fans by being vocal. And I don't mean being vocal in a sense of leaving 12 comments under a wrestler's Instagram post. I mean being vocal as far as attending the events and screaming or booing at the top of your lungs. It made me appreciate a vocal crowd even more. So the next time when a wrestling event has a crowd, I guarantee you, they are all going to be loud. Either it's an NXT crowd, a regular Raw crowd, a SmackDown crowd, a WWE live event crowd, or just a plain old simple AEW Dynamite crowd. They are all going to be loud. Because those people are the ones that watched WWE, are the ones that watched SmackDown, are the ones that watched NXT, are the ones that watched AEW Dynamite the 1 week where they had no fans in attendance because of a virus. So if I ever thought there was going to be another boom period for wrestling, it is right now. It is starting right now. Because if you are a diehard fan, it doesn't matter if you're a diehard fan of wrestling. It doesn't matter if you're a casual fan of wrestling. It doesn't matter if you watched wrestling for a total of 5 fucking minutes. You watch one of those shows without one person in attendance, and you watch a clip from 1990 when fucking, Stone Cold was running fucking roughshod, it will make you appreciate wrestling so much for what it is. And by no means am I saying the wrestling was bad, and the only thing that makes wrestling cool or good is a vocal crowd. By no means. I feel like storytelling inside and outside, and just storytelling in general in wrestling is a beautiful thing, but, a vocal crowd plus a TV wrestling show, there is no better combination to spend your night on a Monday night or a Wednesday night or a Friday night than watching that. Who wouldn't want to turn on a TV show and hear a crowd chanting "Fuck you, Cena" to John Cena? Who wouldn't want to watch an AEW Dynamite when Jon Moxley's fucking standing in the ring and Chris Jericho's coming out to the ring and everybody in the crowd singing his theme song? Who wouldn't want to watch that? That's cool as shit. That's cool as shit. So if the coronavirus is going to do anything but make people overthink and freak out, it's going to teach us how to appreciate a vocal wrestling crowd and just wrestling in general again. Maybe this was a blessing in disguise for not only AEW Dynamite, but maybe it's a blessing for WWE as well. By the way, WWE, go fuck yourself. As usual. This week, with your non-crowd, I don't know what you guys were thinking. The only thing I remember this week from WWE at all is Triple H making a mockery of Michael Cole on SmackDown. That's it. I can't remember one thing from Raw. SmackDown or WrestleMania is being canceled now. No fans. You just cancel it. Don't have it be at the Performance Center. The fuck are you guys thinking? You can postpone WrestleMania. You have the money. Alright, you can postpone it. You can wait. But just the idea of them canceling it, moving it to the... it's so stupid. You have the money, you have the funds to postpone WrestleMania for a few days or even a few weeks, alright, until this shit's all blown over. But you think just because you had to have a 1 week so far of a wrestling TV program with no fans in attendance, that gives you the right to give up? And it was obvious you gave up. It was obvious you guys were fucking giggling and happy in the back that you finally had a week off. Jesus Christ. You guys look like you have off 365 days of a fucking year. Because you only have 12 minutes worth of good wrestling a year. Because you don't give a damn about your TV product. You don't give a damn about your fans. You don't give a damn about what you want to see. You give a damn about what stories you want to tell to your kids about your company. That's what you want to see. What they want to see is Vince McMahon's childhood fantasies come to reality. That's exactly what they want to happen, and that's exactly what's happening. They gave up this week when perhaps wrestling fans needed them the most. They gave up. You flip on the news, what are you hearing about? Nothing but shit that makes you panic and freak out on the inside. Absolutely nothing. I'm a wrestling fan. What WWE did this week for their wrestling shows as far as no attendance, no fans in attendance, they shouldn't even have put on a show. It was that bad. They gave up. They took their ball and they went home. And you want to know what? I genuinely, if that company goes under tomorrow, they deserve it. Because in a week where we could have used them, where we could have used their just same bullshit they put on a Monday night and well on a weekly basis, they couldn't even do that for us. They couldn't even keep on doing the same shit they have been doing. They had to make the shit increasingly worse shit. Because they gave up. And nobody in their right mind is going to be typing in the comments defending WWE for their actions on their shows this week with the coronavirus coming out. There's not one person in the world that can excuse that. They gave up because they went home. They all mentally checked out. The moment the fucking thing came out about the no fans being in attendance, they checked out. They sent their commentators out there to carry the show. They were like, call it on the fly. We don't give a fuck. And it was goddamn obvious they were calling shit on the fly. Holy shit, did you see Jeff Hardy's return? Fuck you. Absolutely disgraceful. Fuck you. Jeff Hardy did nothing to deserve that. Absolutely fucking nothing. His return fucking pop. Gone. You couldn't have saved Jeff Hardy's return for, I don't know, another few weeks? I don't know. I mean, seriously. Come on. The guy's been out for nearly a year. And the first week you bring him back is the first week in my life that you don't have an attendance? I'm sorry, but what the fuck are you thinking, man? Not only for a fan standpoint, but just from being near Jeff Hardy, you gotta know he's not happy about it. You gotta know he was pissed off when he found out they're still booking him in a return match when there's no crowd. You goddamn bet you are. If I was Jeff Hardy and I had to fucking take a year off because I fucking broke my leg doing this shit for so goddamn long, and to come back to that when they could have easily pushed you back another 3 weeks so you can actually get the appreciation and the pop you deserve for fighting and scratching your way back to being on television every week, you're damn right. They could have done him that, and they didn't. That was a straight up spit in his face, and everybody knows it. And there is no goddamn reason why they're using that theme song for him. Put the No More Words in there and make us happy. The only reason they're not using No More Words for Jeff Hardy's theme song is to obviously make us fucking pissed off. It is a subtle jab at us, saying, "Hey, fuck you." You know what I mean? Yeah, we remembered the segment that we really liked that you booed last year. Yeah, go fuck yourself. That's what you get. This is what you get. That's exactly what they're doing for us. But this isn't about WWE, and I know I've been talking about 15 fucking minutes now. But AEW Dynamite did something that I can appreciate this week. And of course that's gonna carry over till next week. But what they did this week was great. Everything on the show is worth watching. I can tell you that much. Everything on AEW Dynamite this week, with no fans, is worth watching. I think it was the best ever AEW Dynamite episode ever. Ever. Honestly, I think it's the best because under the circumstances, they just kept pushing the storylines, and that's something WWE completely abandoned. So I gotta appreciate it, and I appreciated it 10 times fucking more than I normally would. But if there was ever a week to open up a critic's eyes to AEW Dynamite, it was this week, and this week it opened mine. I'm embracing AEW Dynamite now. I'm embracing Orange Cassidy. I'm embracing Cody Rhodes right now. I'm embracing Kenny Omega. I'm embracing Chris Jericho. I'm embracing the Inner Circle. I'm embracing everybody. Because this show was goddamn great this week. Thank you.